Hi there, Andre here from Peak Motorcycles. In this video I will be replacing the front ABS sensor on my 2020 R1250GS. Now if you saw my videos where I swapped my wheels over from my road wheels to some off-road wheels for the RallyMoto event, those of you who are particularly eagle-eyed in this lovely 4K that these videos are done in might have noticed that I didn't move the metal spacer from the road wheels to the off-road wheels. A stupid mistake. Even when I put the off-road wheels on, I did think it didn't look quite right, so I actually disassembled it and reassembled it, checked all the torques, thought it was fine, out I went, and then within a mile or so I think I'd ground the end off my other ABS sensor. Not my best moment. Anyway, in this video I'm going to be taking the side panel off. I think it's a fairly straightforward removal and replacement. The connector I've got on the end of here does look like it would just go on in place of the old one. What I am going to do as well is I'm doing a separate video about the Enduro double track tool. So this is a sort of a trail tool which I'm going to see if I can actually remove everything on the side of the bike using only their tool. So we'll see how I get on. Anyway, here we go. Just to give you a very quick look at what the ABS sensor looks like. If you've never seen one, well, you've probably seen one on your own bike, but it's essentially that. It is a connector on one end. I loosen all it up. Yeah, so that's it really. That end goes just near the wheel. That's the thing that then picks it up from the end of there, and that all routes up and connects at that end onto the bike. So that was it really. This was a used part, it's not a brand new one, but I don't think I actually need a brand new one. The one that's on there is kind of messed up, and other than the fact the ends come off it. I will do a side-by-side comparison so you can see just how much damage a stupid mistake like mine can cause. But other than that, yeah, I'm going to take the side of the bike off using my Enduro tool to see how well that works, and then I'm going to fit this to the bike. So just to show you where the ABS sensor is, it's actually down here on the bike. Now the problem I had, let me swivel that around a little bit, was that when I replaced the wheel I forgot to put the spacer back in there, and that nicely polished up the ABS rotor and took the end off that head. So I think what I'm going to do is, before I actually take all this out, basically that needs to come out. The cable is underneath that little bracket, so I need to somehow get that off. Is that on there? Okay, I think I have to take the wheel off to get that piece out. So that's basically screwed in from the far side. I can just feel the screw on the back of there, and the cable comes up, and it's just on these clips all the way up. I think these ones are easier to come off. Yeah, these just all unclip. So it's only really that bottom clip that needs me to take the front wheel off, but I can take the front wheel off for that. So unclip that all the way up. There's one there. It carries on. There's another little one just in there. I can get that off. Sorry, arm's in the way, but believe me, there's another little clip exactly the same as these. It's just hidden in above the mudguard there. There we go. That's that one off. So that's loose all the way up to there. So you just carry on all the way up the brake line here. So the thing that maybe I need to check is which way it will thread, especially where it's really tight. That's one off there. I don't know if you can still see these on the camera. I'm guessing maybe not, but there we go. Ooh. That's almost all the way up. There's one more just in there. There we go. And then I think, you probably can't see it under there, but it looks like it goes into the left side. So I'm going to take the left, so it goes up there to the left, which is the right-hand side of the bike. So I'm just going to go and take the right-hand side of the bike off. So I think it's basically this. Not sure if those need to come out. I think certainly that one, and then maybe the side panel comes off. Still very much held on. And there's another one, I think, just under there. The only thing I'm wondering about is actually, does this whole upper side panel need to come off as well? Feels like something is still hooked on inside there. Don't think it's that metal piece. I think that's all clear. Just feeling around under there to see if I can feel anything else. Actually, there's two more on the inside of just here. They look like they're just holding that on to the radiator guard. Okay, that now feels very loose. Yeah, there we go. Still feels like there's a clip or something. It's in the top of there that's holding that on. So I think to get this off, I think that's basically, it just needs to be just pulled away, which makes me wince a bit. But I think it is just on a popper at the top there. Oh, I hate doing this. Oh, there we go. Yeah, oh, it's just that little metal clip. That was the only thing. So that was it. And actually, I think, yeah, somewhere in here, I'm hoping I can get to my ABS cable. I can't see it yet, which is a bit of a shame, but let me have a proper look. Yeah, it does go somewhere behind in there. So I think the next thing I'm going to have to do is move this bit and maybe even this side panel here, which is a real pain. But I think this is just on these little plastic pop rivets. So I think what they are. So I think if I just pull the lid, pull the tops up on those, maybe, do they just pop out? I think that's how they work, but maybe not. Actually, maybe that is all actually just fixed in onto that panel, so maybe that's all I have to do. So remove that and a few others, and then maybe that will all come out. We shall see. Sort of underneath here, in fact, here you can see it better off. You actually need a tool that can kind of get underneath that and pull it up. I don't have one, so I'm just going to try and pull the pins out with some needle nose pliers. There we go. And then that rivet comes out like that. There is one more that's in there, but I don't think I'll get the light and I won't get the camera in there. So I'll just go in there with this and just pull it out directly. If I can, that is. It's good to know though that this is awkward to get to. Maybe this is a tool I need to have in my toolbox, or even in my mobile toolbox, because I don't think I'd do this trail side. Yeah, same thing. It's this like plastic push rivet like that. Have mangled the top of that a little bit. Should really get some new ones of those. So now it's just there's a number of other clips to come off, and then that should all be loose. Now then, a problem I've got is that there's a middle one just up here to get this. I think to get this whole side panel off, I actually need to remove the bit that goes around either side of the fuel tank. The problem I have is that because I've now got my tablet thing in place, I can't actually very easily get to the one in there. I'm not going to show you just because, just believe me, it's in there. If anyone's got a bike, you can just look in at the top and you'll see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a longer screwdriver, see if I can get that off. I'm not going to record this bit, but just so you know, this was a fiddly bit to try and get into there. To get this panel off, I had to take the top panel off. I've only got one day really to get this work done. So what I am going to do is I'm just going to do the rest of it as quick as I can, just with a normal screwdriver instead of trying to use the Enduro tool. It did work. It is just slowing me down a bit, and today time is the thing that I'm short of. So now I've got this whole side panel off. I'm just reaching around there and feeling where the ABS cable goes. I can actually just feel the connector on the far side, and I think it's just behind this radiator, which is annoying that it's still not accessible. I mean, I can actually feel the end of the connector in there. What I can't do is actually reach it from here. So I think I'm going to have to take this radiator off in order to get to it, which is quite annoying. But this is what happens when you make stupid mistakes. They always take ages to fix. I'm not sure if you can see this cable here with the yellow bits on it, with the yellow cables, yellow and brown. That is the back of the connector that I'm trying to go onto. Now, I think that is actually clipped on though. So I think I'm going to have to take out a few more bolts, try and get this radiator housing off, and then I can actually get to that properly and clip the new cable in. Before I actually take that side off, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the front wheel off, remove the old sensor, and then I'm basically going to put the new one on and start threading it back through, because what I don't want to do, well, I basically want to make sure I can thread it all the way back in, and then it'll just be a matter of unclipping the old one, clipping the new one back on, and then I'm good to go. Get this front wheel off. Now you can't see this on the camera, but it's just a little retaining screw on the inside. Okay, so that's off. So now I can replace the sensor. There we go. So that's the old one coming off. just to show you the two of them side by side. Just to show you what happens when you forget to put the spacer back in. That's basically where I've just ground the end off. You see that now? I've just kind of ground the end off that one, and that is what the new one looks like next to it. So it's just basically just the very top of it has come off, but I guess that's gone through and killed something, which is a shame. But hey, you live and learn, and then you've got to do all this work to get it off again. There you go, showing like that. Maybe that's a slightly easier angle from which to see the difference. Trying to work out exactly where this routing needs us to go. There we go. It's basically up inside that edge of that. It's surprisingly snug on that side. So the next thing is, I think, for the wheel to go back on, and then I can start clipping it back up the brake line. Now I think where this goes on, there is this clip which needs to fit over, like that. The next thing is I'm just going to clip this in kind of all the way back up the brake line where the previous one went. It's clearly held on somewhere else. The other option is maybe it goes up but not down, so when I get the other connector out, maybe then I can thread it down. Let's see if I can thread that around the back of there somehow. So looking in there, this is the new cable here. That's the old sensor there. There we go. I think that's almost there. So I don't think there's any more clips. It's now just a matter of getting the old one off, clipping the new one on, and then I can put it all back together again. Fun. So I'm just going to try and take I'm going to take those two out, because I think I don't need to remove the radiator all the way. I just need to remove it enough to be able to reach the connector at the back. And I think that by undoing these two, that should just move a little bit, hopefully enough. That's on a big plastic washer. Oh yeah, that's on a rubber bushing behind, so these are kind of like a shock mount for the radiator. There we go. Now the radiator moves. That's still quite awkward to get to. And that expansion tank could do with moving at this rate. I'm going to have taken off everything on this side of the bike, and that came out easily. I'll take that out. Okay, that was really the one that's freed everything up suddenly. So now I can see very clearly the connector here. Hopefully now you can see it on the camera. It's this connector here. That is the one for the ABS sensor. So essentially, so what I need to do now is to work it. I think that actually looks like it's just clipped on to something. It's like a little frame clip. So if I can get the connector off the end, which I think is through that tab. I might have to move the camera out of the way to actually be able to get to it. And then the connector itself looks like it's actually just on a little clip that's attached to the frame. So I'll remove that. In fact, you know what? I think that'll just slide one way or the other. There we go. So that's that connector off. So then it's how is that fixed on there? There we go. So I just slide that up. Aha. Don't know if that's still on camera, but that's definitely popped up. Now pull that out from the front. There we go, that's the old one out altogether. So that's just a matter of threading the new one back in through the same hole. There's little, there's a cable clip attached to the bike frame that's just around the back there. I don't think I'll be able to pick that up on the camera, but I can certainly do it with my fingers. Just going to check if there's any slack I can take up. I think these really are just made to be the perfect length with no extra leeway at all. There we go. That, I think, is back on where the previous one was. It's on the clip, so that should just clip back on. And we're done. Well, I say we're done. That's the sensor replaced. Now there's a big job of refitting all of that bodywork. What a mission that's going to be. While I record this, I'll have a bit of a think. So that's it. That is my video on how to replace the front ABS sensor on a BMW R1250GS. Replacing the sensor is actually really easy. It's just a connector that unplugs and plugs in again, and even all the wiring is just clipping on and off. The bit that's hard is actually getting to the connector. It's like one of these things, it's just such a simple job to do, but the amount of bodywork that you have to take off the bike, everything across here, the whole side, everything, even to move the expansion tank for the cooling system out of the way, just so you can get your fingers in to reach it. It's easy enough to do. If you've got space and you've got somewhere indoors to do it, then by all means, I'd have a crack if you ever need to. I think this video is going to be about 15 minutes long when I've sped everything up. I think if you're going to do it, it's probably 1 to 2 hours of work. It took me about 2 hours with the filming. I'm sure you could probably do it in 1 if you were just doing that and nothing else. So anyway, I hope that has been interesting and useful. If it has, please check out my other content and maybe I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.